Welcome back to part 49 of Neil Donaldson's Lotus XL restoration. In this video I'm going to complete the seats. So obviously with the last Lotus video that I made, I was stripping the seats and I was experimenting a little bit with spraying them with dye and seeing how that worked out, and made fairly good progress on that. But I'm going to complete the job today in this video. You'll also see that I've had a huge repair to take care of in terms of the seats, and yeah, it'll be interesting to see what kind of results we can get from that, see if it's going to be acceptable or not. Also, I'm going to continue with the other jobs that have been ongoing in the meantime, like for example the stripping out the carpets and everything, and preparing the new carpets and all that for putting in there. I've had a bit of a water leak as well, which I'm trying to get on top of, and obviously I'd rather sort that out before I start putting carpets and stuff in there, so obviously don't get them damaged and all that kind of stuff. So I'll try and investigate a bit further into that. Maybe somebody can help me as well. Other ideas that I've had, but I think it's got something to do with the window bonding. But anyway, we can have a look at that later. Okay, so there's no time like the present, as I say. Let's get on with the jobs I've got to do. The first thing I'm going to do with these seats is I'm going to steam treat them. I don't have a steam machine, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to spray them wet a little bit, and then I'm going to hose them off with the heat gun there, and hopefully we'll get a bit more life into these foam bits. Don't know if this will work, but we can always try. Just pump this up. So I've dosed them down in water, and now I'm going to use the heat gun to turn that water into steam. Might take a while to do this, so I'll come back to you in a bit when it's properly heated up. See, it was a sort of a black colour, but now it's once the water's turned to steam, it's going back to its original colour. So yeah, quite pleased with the progress so far. So what I'm going to do is with the back of the rear seat here, I'm going to show you exactly the process I used to spray this. I've already acetoned it down and pretty much ready to spray, but before I actually start spraying it, what I'm going to do is I'm going to hand apply the sponge into all the sort of little gaps here. So basically just taking the sponge, using a bit of dye, and just going into all the gaps. Yeah, so I'm now ready to start mixing paint. Now, really, you should put this paint through a filter, but I'm too lazy to do that. So, yeah, what I'm going to do is basically I'm going to mix 50% of the leather colourant with just 50% water. So I'll get on and do that and mix it up properly. Just going to get some water. Yeah, so once I've mixed it up, then I'm going to start putting it in the spray gun. Some towels here, just wipe that down. So I cleaned up the spray gun last time, and I'm just gonna pour it in. There we go. Replace the cap. Put the cap back on there. And I'm going to attach the spray gun. Yeah, so that was a very light layer. I've been using the protection as well. So I'm just going to continue like that until we build up the coats of the spray. So I've dried it off a bit and we're ready for coat 2. So that's what it now looks like after 3 coats. I think I'll still apply 1 more coat and let it dry. Yeah, and see what we've got from there, I think. Quite pleased with the results so far. It does look like there's 1 or 2 repairs or a little bit of filler I need to apply, for example, down here. But I can sort that out later. That's not such a big issue, and even touch it up with the sponge afterwards. So that's what it looks like after 4 coats. As I said, it's not perfect yet. I'm going to leave that overnight to dry and see how it turns out. We're definitely on the right track here. It's yeah. As I say, I think it'll look a lot better when it does dry, but there are a couple of runs as well somewhere, so we also need to sort them out. But we'll come back in the morning anyway and have a look. This is the morning after the spraying. There are a couple of runs here, for example. Yeah, a couple on there. I've got a small repair, or at least I need to put a bit of filler there. Probably the mistake I made was I mixed the dye a little bit too thin. So what I'll do right now then is obviously apply that little bit of filler that I've got to do there. Plus I'll just give it a very light sanding down with 600 grit and apply another coat. It's getting there. It's getting there, definitely. Moving on to the interior of the car, I'm going to try and obviously remove this bit of carpet, which is proving a bit tough to get out, and also apply a bit of acetone to the old glue there and see if I can remove that as well. Yeah, finally managed to remove that. Turned the templates, moved it enough in one piece so I can produce another template from it, so that's good news. And also you can see I apply a bit of acetone here, which I've already done, and it kind of peels off this old glue a hell of a lot easier. So I'll just scrape that off. I won't film that because I'll bore the shit out of you, and come back to you when I'm done. A very tedious job, but most of it is now removed. I'll try and remove some of the other all the rest of the carpets and stuff here, and try and make patterns and everything. Although probably it's a good idea because the bigger pieces of carpet are along the side rails there, so the bit that I've taken off, the big bit that goes in here. I'm going to remove that seat and also remove the carpet, just basically this bit of carpet here. Edging the carpets out to the passenger side. Got to remove the seatbelt mount there, the anchor. And just to point out, that separator there sort of fits in the hole with the seatbelt mount. So I've put the back of the seat back together here, and I've got a big tear obviously here. So I mean that's just a piece of loose material. What I'm going to do here is attempt to repair this tear by basically sticking a piece of material on the back there, holding it together so it stays in place, and then obviously using filler, leather filler to basically make it cosmetically more palatable. So I'll put some glue on there now and stick it together. I've applied the glue, I'll just wait sort of about 10 minutes I think, just to let it come a little bit tacky before I start manoeuvring it and holding it into place. This is what we've got now after I've held it together for about 10 minutes. And I think I'll just apply a little bit more leather glue along there just to fill out that crack a little bit more. But I'm going to leave this overnight anyway, dry properly. Yeah, the next thing I'm going to do now is I'm going to glue the seat back on to the support here. I've had to redo another sort of bit of wire there, which the old one had snapped. Yeah, I mean that's covered with paper, so I don't think I'm going to need to do that. And I'm going to use zip ties now instead of the little pieces of rusty wire that was on there originally. So instead of those pieces, I did put them in vinegar to get the rust off, and they're quite awkward to do them, so I'll just use zip ties anyway and see how that goes I think first. But I'll put some glue in there and stick it back on. I've left this now overnight and it looks pretty solid, so I'll proceed with sanding it down slightly and filling it a bit with filler. And build it up a bit so any remnants of the crack is gone. I cleaned it up with acetone and now I'm just going to apply some of the leather filler again, getting it in the cracks. Probably have to do 2 or 3 layers of this I think. I've prepared the tear there for spraying now. So I'll set up the spray gun and let's see how I get on. I've given it 3 coats and you can just about still see the repair there. What I think's happened is that the filler has shrunk a little bit after I've put it in. So what I'll do is I'll just leave that to dry overnight, and I'll maybe, yeah, come back and start do a bit more repairs on that tomorrow when everything's dried properly. But other than that, it's pretty good, I have to say. I'm, you know, fairly pleased with it. But, yeah, still a bit more work to do, a bit more spraying, a couple more coats, I would say, before that's ready. But I'll do that tomorrow. I've done enough for tonight. These bits are almost ready now as well. Made a start on the headrest. Thoroughly clean your spray gun after every spray, every day you're spraying with it, because I've had 2 times now where I haven't bothered taking the needle out to clean it properly, and yeah, nothing's come out. So obviously a bit of dry paint or something has blocked the needle, so I've had to basically pour the paint away and clean it out thoroughly and start again. So, warning to you all people, if you're going to attempt this. So the seats are almost done. What I'm going to do is, I'm going to just put a coat in of this product here, which basically seals the colourant in place. And let that dry in. I just wanted to point out as well the repair that I've done there, which is basically that. Yeah, it's not perfect, but I think it kind of represents the rest of the leather, you know, in terms of the quality of the leather. So I'm probably not going to make any more adjustments on that. I can certainly live with that anyway. Let me know what you think about that anyway, guys. I just wanted to address something that, a comment that Richard Gosling gave to me regarding the seat. As you can see on the driver's side there, the construct seems a little bit different. Well, I mean, they've got these sort of seatbelty things. I think that's what Richard was referring to in the comments. And obviously this one, the passenger side, doesn't have that. Apart from that, they're actually identical, the seats, you know, the construct of them. So I don't know why the decision was taken to do that, but yeah, it's done, and I'm keeping it. Yeah, I'm getting round to also cutting the carpet, so the new carpet is there. Getting around to mould it on the old carpets, using the old carpets obviously as a template. Yeah, the neighbour's beating his drums there, I think, but yeah, I wanted to point out a few things as well. I'm having water leak issues in this car. Yeah, the main water leak is sort of in the passenger footwell, sort of down there. Now, since I've stripped the carpets here, I'm seeing that nothing's coming in through this seal. I have actually replaced the seal on this car. Now, from the heater element, sometimes we do get drips from here, so I'm going to remove that. Sorry, it's not the heater, it's actually the blower, the heater element in there, but this is the blower, this thing here. Now, the actual window seal itself is a bit loose on this corner, and also I did have, which I've just temporarily bunged it up with silicone, a little bit of seal in here. Yeah, put a bit of silicone seal in here to stop it. Has got a little bit better, but I think I'm going to have to remove all the bonding along the edges and basically remove the windscreen and sort it out. I did think Angus and the others, obviously, they've warned me about sealing the windscreen wiper bit there properly. I did have it just sealed before with the there's a rubber washer that goes on there, and I think it was all right, because as you can see, there's a pool of water there, which is what you want. You don't want that to be leaking inside there. But I have also resealed that with silicone as well. Yeah, and I think when I've done that, I could I could start putting the carpets and interior and all that stuff back in. If anybody else has got any more tips, obviously, about what I could check other than that, I've seen the forums and everything, then please write in the comments and give me some advice. Yeah, so that pretty much concludes the video for today. As I say, the jobs that are coming up, I've already mentioned it, is I'll be trying to tackle the windscreen, removing it, and also removing the blower. tidying it up a little bit. I just wanted to point out another couple of things. I mean, a good thing is, of course, is that the days are getting a lot longer now, and the options now to do work in the evenings mean that I can probably start churning out a couple more videos on a bit more regular basis now that I can do work after I actually finish my day job, so to speak. Yeah, and another thing that's coming up is I've had this 850 here for quite some time. I mean, years. I've kind of let it go a little bit, I must be honest. And it'll need some restoration work at some point. It's mostly, I mean, the car runs okay. It's done a lot of miles. It's done well over 200,000 miles. But it'll need some restoration work. Mostly body work needs to be done on that. I won't be forgetting the Lotus, though, don't worry, because that is my absolute dream car, the Lotus XL, so I'll be focusing on that. But once I get it on the road and it's up and running and working properly and all the paintwork and everything, the wheels and everything are sorted out, then I'll probably be moving on to different projects like that. But there's still quite a lot of work to do on this Lotus, and it will be focused on until basically it's complete. And yeah, I might even rebrand the channel as well, you know. As people who know me know that I've got kind of short arms and deep pockets, which basically means I'm a tight arse. So I may sort of rebrand the channel something like, tight arse's car restoration or something like that. But we'll see. We'll see when it comes to that. Anyway, once again, thanks for taking an interest, guys. I hope you enjoyed this particular episode. As I say, there should be much more regular updates coming from now on as we get in towards spring. And so stay tuned.